Hey, it's Dan H411 Lessons, and I'm going to go ahead and show you today how to take the Taylor Swift song called Cruel Summer and not play it, but how do we play solos over the song. I'll show you the basic chords, but we're going to learn how to play solos over this song because I know one of the most fun things to do, I do it, I know tons and tons of guitarists out there doing this, is take a song, turn it into an instrumental, play leads over it, or do it as a cover, but then of course carve out a niche for a solo. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to play solos? And if you're a rock player, a metal player, country player, hip hop player, whatever, if you're playing guitar and you want to learn solos, what better way to learn solos than to take popular songs that have chord structures that are tried and true, and then go ahead and learn solos over that. So when you write your own songs, or if you play over songs that you prefer, like if you don't like this one for instance, then you could go ahead and use that knowledge. Whether this is relevant to you or not, the knowledge, the core knowledge here will be, so you can use that knowledge to go ahead and write solos for any song that you want, any key that you want. Just pick up the guitar and go. So let's check out the Taylor Swift song, Cruel Summer, and see how we can solo over that. Hey, as always, thank you for checking out the free lessons that I have here on YouTube every single week. You might have seen some of my other channels. Anything you go to that's at Dan H411, I've got a shorts channel, I've got some socials and stuff like that. Anything you go to out there like that, this is my main channel. This is the one where we get the weekly lessons, and they're usually pretty in-depth and pretty long. You know, somewhere between 20 minutes and an hour usually that I do these lessons every single week. So if you're coming here from somewhere else, or if you're seeing this on one of my socials or somewhere like that, just remember we do have a full lesson channel at youtube.com/DanH411, so be sure to check that out. And if any of these free lessons is ever over the top to you, if anything is just a little bit above your level and you're thinking, well, I want to get this broken down a little bit more, you know, instead of going through all my lessons, listen, I got a foundational course for you. It's a 7-day course. And you get that foundation, and then you can come back here and you can go through all these lessons, and it's going to make a whole lot more sense. So it's a free 7-day course. It's at tinyurl.com/DanH411, and it'll help you unlock the fretboard. It'll show you the scale shapes string by string, and what I do is over 7 days I start really minimalistly and then I go to the second string and the third string, and then I add a fourth string and a fifth string and a sixth string. Eventually it gets to the point where I'm showing you both diatonic and pentatonic boxes and how they make sense in a circular fashion, which a lot of guitar teachers, they show you licks and tricks and all kinds of cool stuff like that. But sometimes, I know for me, that was the case for me, sometimes it's hard to see how those different licks and tricks and shred licks and all that stuff fit within the scale shapes. So that's what I want to do over the 7-day course, is kind of give you that foundation for how those different scale shapes lock together like puzzle pieces. It's very circular. Once you learn one, you can go ahead and move it all up and down the fretboard. And even when you change strings, there's just a couple little rules that you need to know so that you can go ahead and fly up and down the fretboard from string to string, playing these different scale shapes, and always being in key, playing with confidence, improvising intuitively, and being able to just pretty much pick up the guitar and go no matter what song's playing. It helps you with your ear training too, because you can start to pick out, okay, I know this song is in this key. Even if you don't know the key, even if you don't know the note, you just know that it's right there, that fits. So that means that this scale shape must fit. So again, 7-day course, unlock the fretboard, play intuitively, play with confidence, just pick up the guitar and go. And if that ever changes, I'll have the link in the description, so check that out. The basic chords of this song for the verses are D, E, and then it goes to C sharp and F sharp. And for the chorus, it's going to be A, then it goes to C sharp, then F sharp, then D. So that's your basic chord structure, okay? As with all of my tutorials, I'm not really here to teach you the song, but if you want to go ahead and get in the ballpark, that gets you in the ballpark. And then you can go ahead and listen to the song and flesh it out the way that you want to. But that's the basic chords. So if you've come here for that and you're like, oh, okay, I need to know the chords, there they are. You got those. See you later. But if you're sticking around, then we're going to go ahead and learn how to solo over this song. So we're going to play with a little ear training here. The song itself, the verses are in the key of D, D major. And then the choruses are in the key of A major. So it kind of resolves back to that A major. Kind of sounds refreshing, right? Even though the song's called Cruel Summer, and I was really hoping that it would be a cover of the Bananarama song, and I'm actually probably going to wind up going back and doing that one eventually because I love that song, and I was really hoping that this would be that, but it's not. But even though it's called Cruel Summer, that chorus is kind of uplifting, right? It goes to that A major chord. And usually songs are written in relatives. Like, I'm thinking maybe this is a relative D major to a relative A major, or maybe at some point it goes from a D major to an A major, right? But when you flesh the song out, you've got to kind of play around with the scale shapes and what's going to fit the best. There's 7 modes, right? If we start with the major scale, we've got Ionian, then it goes to Dorian, then it goes to Phrygian, then it goes to Lydian, then Mixolydian, then Aeolian, then Locrian. So you got 7 modes. All of them might have a house here. But then again, maybe only one of them works the best. We can play around with it. Chord structures are going to change the way, of course, that you play with the modes. And you can play a D shape or an A shape in all kinds of different ways. We can change this song to minor, we can change it to a Locrian sounding mode or an Aeolian sounding mode or a Lydian sounding mode. You can play around with it and do all kinds of stuff with it. We can make it more dissonant, we can make it more dominant, we can make it more diminished. You know, however you want to play with it, you can do that. Which is why the basic chord structure is all I really go over, because you could take this and run with it and do whatever you want to. But for this particular song, for the backing track that I fleshed out over this, only one shape is probably going to fit the best. So we're going to do a little ear training and we're just going to play with that. So I'm going to play the backing track that I created. We're going to listen to it, and as we listen to it, I'm going to play around with some different shapes. So here we go. Okay, so if you listen to the song, I'm starting out with an A, and then it goes to that D. I'm going to the verses. So we have this song that's playing in a D right now, right? So here's your D. And could we play a D major? That note doesn't really fit well right there. That fits better. Which makes this a D Lydian. So I could play a D Lydian over this. And it's fitting over the A major scale too, because now we're in A major, we're in the chorus, right? And that fits very well. The major A fits well, which is relative to your D Lydian. And then, if we back this up, that's your chorus right there. I think I jumped the gun on the chorus, but that's your chorus right there, and that's your A major. we back this up, I'm in F sharp minor, which fits as well. So my point in all that is to show you that we got some relative shapes there. The key of the song is most likely in your A major. This one right here. So that's your A major, right? Your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then if we go to the 5th string and we start on the 5th fret of the 5th string, we could just play that same shape. But it takes us to Lydian. So that's going to be, instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, re, mi, fa, it's going to start on the fa. Fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right, it's going to take me to that. So it's going to change, but it's going to start on the fa. So the circle, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, ti, right? It's going to keep going around like that. Circular nature of the fretboard, circular nature of the scale shapes. We're playing the same notes, we're just starting on a different note, and that's going to change the mode. Now, is this in the key of D Lydian? We could say it's in a relative key of D Lydian, or we could say it's in the key of A Ionian, right? A major, right? But if you flesh the whole shape out along the 5th fret of the 6th string, we start on the 5th fret, 7th fret, then we go to the 5th string and we play 4, 5, 7. Then we go to the 4th string and we play 4, 6, 7. Then on the 3rd string, 4, 6, 7. Then on the 2nd string, 5, 7. And then on the 1st string, 4, 5, 7. So the cool thing about modes is they're all really kind of in there, right? Every shape kind of contains most of them, right? If I start on the 5th fret of the 6th string, that's your Ionian mode. If I start on the 5th fret of the 5th string, that's your Lydian mode. If I start on the 4th fret of the 4th string, that's going to be your Aeolian mode. And it keeps going, okay? Now, some purists, some theorists are going to say, no, that's not true, because what's going to happen is your modes are going to change depending on what you're playing over. So, truly, if this is in the key of A major, and I play on the 6th string at the 5th fret, and I play 5, 7, and then on the 5th string I play 4, 5, 7, and then on the 4th string I play 4, 6, 7, that is your A major. To change it to Lydian, I would have to play that shape starting on the A note, starting on the 5th fret of the 6th string, playing 5, 7, then on the 5th string playing 4, 6, 7, and then on the 4th string playing 4, 6, 7. It changes the shape, and it doesn't fit as well. Let's listen to how the Lydian mode, that's actually the Lydian mode, sounds over these chords. See, that note right there doesn't fit very well. So if we're starting on the fa, sol, la, ti, that T doesn't fit very well. Even without the backing track, it sounds like it's off because we've already got it in our head. And that's what ear training is, right? Listening to the song and hearing those sour notes. That's a sour note. Now, if I was blazing, if I was shredding, it probably wouldn't matter, right? I can't shred right now. You probably couldn't even hear that, right? Because if you're shredding, if you're just playing fast, you're probably going to skip over a lot of notes that are sour notes, but you just don't hear them that well. So that's probably okay. This would probably fit, and it would probably change the dynamic of your soloing just a little bit differently, but it's not going to fit very melodically. And that's the interesting thing about the guitar, is you can play a lot of sour notes. You can play a lot of chromatics, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with notes that really just don't fit very well. But if it's fitting with your musical expression and what you want to say with the guitar, taking it from your brain, expressing it through your fingers, then it's okay, as long as your message is clear. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. I mean, that's what jazz is all about, right? Van Halen did a lot of that stuff. So there's all kinds of examples of where sour notes or dissonant notes are used musically, and that's okay. But for melody, the Ionian scale or the major scale is going to fit much better over this song, in this case in the key of A Ionian or A major, than any other scale shape would. So that's what I basically did with the solo, was I fleshed it out with the A major scale, and I also used a lot of pentatonic boxes. So this is your major scale right here. We can find the octave of the 6th string, 5th fret on the 5th string, 7th fret. And I can play the same shape, which is that 5-7, 4-5-7, 4-6-7. What we can do is think of our fingers as I'm going to play with my first finger and my third finger. Then when I get to the 5th string, I'm going to play with my first finger, my second finger, and my pinky. And then when I get to the 4th string, I'm going to play with my first finger, my ring finger, and my pinky. So if I move that all down to the next octave, which is on the 7th fret of the 4th string, I'm going to play the same shape. First finger, ring finger. Then I'm going to play first finger, second finger, pinky. And then I'm going to play first finger, ring finger, pinky. And right there what we're doing is playing on the 4th string at the 7 and 9, on the 3rd string at the 6, 7, 9, and on the 2nd string at the 7, 9, 10. So you have 2 octaves there. And you can go ahead and find the pentatonic within those diatonic shapes, or those 7-note shapes, by going ahead and just losing a couple of notes. So the pentatonic here, I'm going to show you something interesting about the pentatonic, and I'll explore this in future lessons as well. The pentatonic has a pattern. Whenever you see that first finger, second finger, 4th finger, and then the very next shape is the first finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, or first finger, ring finger, pinky, then if you leave out the middle fingers, if you leave out the middle finger and the ring finger, you have the pentatonic box that is a whole note, half note, okay? The rest of the shapes of the pentatonic are all whole notes, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So here we have the major scale. Instead of playing first finger, second finger, pinky, and then first finger, ring finger, pinky, I'm just going to play first finger, pinky, first finger, pinky. So I played 4, 5, 7, and then 4, 6, 7. Now I'm just going to play 4, 7, 4, 7. And that is the only large span inside a pentatonic box. The rest of them are small spans, or what I would consider first finger, ring finger, and they're only spanning over a whole note. Like this spans over a whole note and a half note. From the 4th fret to the 6th fret is a whole note, so from the 4th fret to a 7th fret is a whole note plus a half note, or a whole step and a half step. So we're doing that across 2 strings. Now, when I back this up to the 6th string, I'm only going to play first finger, ring finger, and I'm only going to play on the 5th fret and the 7th fret. That's a whole step. When I get to the 3rd string, I'm going to play just that whole step. I'm going to play it on the 4th fret and the 6th fret. On the 2nd string, 5th fret, 7th fret, and on the 1st string, 5th fret, 7th fret. Those 2 right there, in a pentatonic box, they move diagonally across the fretboard. I'm going to show you one more shape. I'm going to show you the octave of this, and you can see how it's going to travel diagonally. So anytime you see this, you can find the octave of that first note that we're playing, which is on the 4th fret of the 5th string. You move that up and you're going to get that same box. Anything that comes before that is that whole step shape. Anything that comes after that is that whole step shape. And that's kind of how you play with pentatonics, and that's the shape of pentatonics. It's kind of interesting when you think about it, and again, it allows you to move things around, because if you start seeing the diagonal nature and also the circular nature of the fretboard, then you can go ahead and gravitate towards pentatonics. Anytime you see that 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, you know that's going to lead you into pentatonic if you want to go there. So again, going back to the octave of this, we started out on the 5th fret of the 6th string. Now we're going to go to the 7th fret of the 4th string, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and play the 1, 3, and then the 1, 2, 4, and the 1, 3, 4. But we're going to leave off the middle 2 fingers. Instead of playing 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, we're just going to play 1, 4, 1, 4. So on the 3rd string, we're playing the 6th fret, the 7th fret, and the 9th fret. So we're just going to play 6, 9. And on the 2nd string, we were playing the 7th fret, the 9th fret, and the 10th fret. So we're just going to play 7, 10. Same thing. And now you have 2 pentatonic boxes. So with those 2 right there, I'm going to go ahead and take the full shapes, or what's called the diatonic or the 7-note shapes. And the pentatonics. And I'm going to go ahead and flesh out a little solo. And this is totally improv, and it's probably going to sound sloppy, but I'm going to flesh out a little solo for you over the backing track, starting with the diatonic, going into the pentatonic, and then doing some freestyle. So check this out. All right, again, like I said, a little sloppy, but you get the idea. The idea is to be able to sit there and play within these scale shapes once you put them in your muscle memory, and then be able to move them around. So if this was in a different key, I could move all of that, you know, back 2 frets, right? Or I could move it up 2 frets. And you can go ahead and then find songs that are in the G major scale or the B major scale. Learning how to move the shapes around, learning how they lock into each other like puzzle pieces, learning the circular nature, understanding how do, re, mi, fa, sol, la applies to notes rather than knowing the actual notes. I think these things are going to get you in that groove a lot better and make the guitar playing more fun. Okay, we just want to pick up the guitar and play and have fun with it. That's why a lot of people, a lot of guitar players, if you really pay attention, if you really take your time and listen, they have a very limited bag of tricks. They only know so much, and they use those things with fidelity all over the place. And I'm not talking about YouTubers. I'm talking about people who have released multi-million-dollar albums, right? You know, platinum albums or gold albums or whatever. They're, you know, making tons of money playing the same shapes over and over and over and over again. And why is that? Why are those same tones? Tones like this. Why are those same tones on every single album? Why are they there, right? It's not because people aren't innovative and they can't do something else. It's because once they learn something and they gravitate back towards that, they keep using that over and over and over again because it works. Because people like listening to it. So you don't have to learn a whole lot, but you're going to be able to learn a lot more if you have a great foundation. And of course, that's why, you know, I want to go ahead and give you that free course, help you out with that. But this gives you an idea of where the scale shapes are for Cruel Summer. It gives you an idea of how to play in the A Ionian or A major scale. And gives you an idea of how to move that around a little bit. I'm going to do a couple more lessons on this. I want to come back and I want to play around with the solo that I made for the teaser. And I also want to show you some places where you can put some different ideas and show you some different licks and things like that. But go ahead and take this as a foundation for right now. Play with this, get my 7-day course, learn a little bit more, understand how to unlock the fretboard. And then when you come back to the next lesson, you'll be able to go ahead and add to your vocabulary and then keep making your vocabulary bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you can just do all kinds of stuff. And I give you permission, it's perfectly okay to have a small bag of tricks. But if you want that bag of tricks to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, how do you do that? Understanding the scale shapes, understanding where all those licks and tricks fit within the scale shapes is going to make you a much better guitar player than just having a lot of random tricks in your bag, right? So definitely take this and run with it. Leave me some feedback in the comments. First thing I want to know is, are you a Swifty? I just learned that term the other day. I thought that was kind of funny. But do you like playing Taylor Swift songs on the guitar? Maybe you're an acoustic guitar player and you like playing the songs and singing along with them. And if you are a lead guitar player and this is something that you want to approach and keep learning about this, is the Taylor Swift song and some of the other ones I've done in the past, like the Morgan Wallen song or the Doja Cat song, are there things in there that you've noticed that you can apply to your guitar playing? Hey, I hope you're enjoying the free content I got here on YouTube for you. Remember, come back every week, brand new lesson. And don't forget that I got a free course out there for you, 7 days to unlock the fretboard. Give me 7 days. I'll give you 7 different lessons. You might do it quicker. You might take a little bit longer with it. You might have to come back to it and watch it several times. But practice, 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 right? It's going to get you where you need to go. It's going to give you a great foundation. If you've picked up the guitar before and you've learned some different licks or some different chops, if you learn some different scale shapes and things like that, but you're not really sure how to connect them together, if you're playing leads but you're doing things that you can only do over one key, if you have trouble picking up the guitar and just improvising intuitively, that's what this really is for. It's not a beginner course or anything like that, although I would still like you to sign up even if you're a brand new beginner, because I got all kinds of cool stuff that I send out to my email list. Some of it will help beginners, intermediates, and advanced, so be sure to check that out. Because no matter where you are on your path, eventually you will get to the point where a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you, either in these free lessons or through my mailing list or in my other courses, is going to help you. So be sure to check that out. Again, start with the free course, right? It's a great foundational course. Start with that. 7 days to unlock the fretboard, 7 days to understand where the scale shapes are and how to move them around, how to play in any key, how to play intuitively, how to pick up the guitar and just go and play with confidence. That's what I've always wanted as a guitar player, and that's what I want for you. So check it out. Link will be in the description, or you can just go to tinyurl.com/DanH411, assuming that never changes, and I will see you in the next lesson.